Ichika Orimura is just your average clueless idiot, except he accidentally enrolled in an all-girls battle academy where the dress code is 10% fabric, 90% fan service. He's the only guy in the whole school, and instead of thanking the anime gods, he walks around like he's confused at how he even exists.
I knew you would say something like that!
Day 1, this man picks a fight with the baddest girl in class. The assistant homeroom teacher walks into class and starts introducing herself. While she's talking, Ichika notices a familiar face in the class. It's his childhood friend, but he can't even get her to look his way. Then Maya calls him up to introduce himself. As usual, he fumbles like a confused puppy trying to sound cool. Before he can finish, someone smacks him on the head. It's not just any girl. It's his sister, Orimura Chifuyu. Ichika is stunned. 1 second he's standing there. The next his sister is disciplining him like he still wets the bed. He finally figures out what's going on. She's the homeroom teacher. The class goes crazy because apparently she used to be a national legend in IS battles, Japan's #1 pilot. Then one day, like Aang from Avatar, when the world needed her most, she vanished, and now she's back to babysit her useless brother. After embarrassing him, she drops a few warnings and leaves. Maya picks it up from there and starts explaining what it actually means. Infinite Stratos, a suit made for space missions, but since war was banned, they now use it for sports and tournaments. Only one academy trains as pilots, and students come from all over the world. Ichika is still confused. He remembers clearly, only girls can pilot IS. Later on, after class, some girls are huddled in a corner whispering about him like he's a new virus, but Huki shows up to rescue him. She drags him away and finds a quiet spot to talk. At first, it's just awkward silence. Then she smiles a little when he compliments her hair. Some students spy on them, but they run off when the bell rings. Back in class, Ichika is staring at his manual like it's written in Greek. Maya notices his dumb expression and walks over. He tells her he doesn't understand anything. She's surprised, but finds out the other students are just as lost. Chifuyu walks back in, walks straight to Ichika, and asks if he read a certain book before entering the school. He says he lost it. She hits him again, no mercy. The other students are frozen, watching how she treats her brother like a punching bag. During a free period, a girl named Cecilia approaches Ichika. She starts talking like she's royalty, bragging about being England's representative and top of the entrance exams. Ichika ruins her moment by asking dumb questions like he doesn't have 2 brain cells to rub together. She explains the meaning of representative contender, but not without reminding him that she's above him in every way. Then she walks off, telling him to come back crying when he needs help. She stops when Ichika says he beat his invigilator during the IS entrance test. That shakes her up because she thought she was the only one who did that. After class, Ichika heads to his dorm to rest. The moment he opens the door, Huki walks out of the shower thinking it's another girl. Ichika stands there looking like a deer on the highway, and she beats him senseless, throws him out like trash. A bunch of girls outside see the whole thing. Their presence alone scares Ichika into begging Huki to let him back inside. She finally agrees and lays down some house rules. Bathroom schedules, shared stuff, basic peace treaty terms. It's weird, but he plays along since it's Huki.
Okay, this is scary!
Next day, during lunch, Ichika sits beside Huki at the cafeteria. She's still pissed about the night before. Things get worse when other girls show up to sit beside Ichika too. Chifuyu shows up and the girls quickly wrap up and disappear. Back in class, Chifuyu announces that they need to elect a class rep. The rep will go to tournaments and deal with student council matters. Before Ichika can even raise his hand, 2 girls nominate him. Nobody else steps up, so Chifuyu declares him the class rep. Cecilia doesn't like that. She stands up and says she's not letting someone like Ichika lead her. She challenges him for the position, and this idiot accepts like he's got anything to prove. Chifuyu approves the duel and tells them to get ready. He even had the audacity to tell her he'll give her a handicap. Ichika the headless chicken wakes up to find out he's getting a personal IS unit. Yeah, personal. That's a big deal because only a few people in the world have it. Cowhead Cecilia opens her mouth again, acting like she owns the school. She brags about her personal unit like she's a walking advertisement for British pride. The way she talks, you'd think she built the suit herself. Only 467 suits exist in the world, and people like her act like they were born wearing one. Turns out the person who made the IS cores is Huki's older sister. Yup. The girl with zero patience and one hell of a fist has a genius sibling, and you can tell she's salty about it. When the teacher drops the bomb in class, Huki looks like she wants to punch the blackboard. She shouts that she's not her sister, and the whole class goes quiet like kids caught stealing meat from the soup pot. Meanwhile, Maya, the boring encyclopedia, decides to explain how the IS works. It wraps the user's body in a protective barrier. Everyone nods. Everyone except Ichika, who stares like he's hearing algebra for the first time. After class, he tries to be sweet and asks Huki to join him for lunch. And guess what? She punches him so hard he kisses the floor in front of the whole class. Somehow this punch-drunk fool still manages to convince Huki to follow him. They sit down and eat, and Ichika begs her to teach him is combat. He's scared he'll get wiped out by Cecilia. Huki acts tough, but when another girl tries to volunteer, she growls and marks her territory. She agrees to train him after school, probably because she doesn't want another girl touching her punching bag. Later that day, Ichika gets clobbered again, this time with a wooden sword. Huki trains him like she's prepping him for the Hunger Games. Within an hour, Ichika is already wobbling like Bambi on ice. Huki loses her mind and asks him how he got this weak. Ichika just stands there looking confused as always. She tells him they'll train every damn day until he learns to fight like a man, not like wet bread. Cut to the locker room. Huki stares at her reflection like she's in a K-drama. She remembers when Ichika held her hand earlier. Now her heart's doing jumping jacks, but she forces herself to act normal. Fast forward a week, the whole school gathers to watch the big fight between our brainless main character and cowhead Cecilia. Ichika still doesn't have his IS unit. The guy's standing there with empty hands like a lost puppy. Just when it's about to get embarrassing, Maya announces that his suit has arrived. It's go time. Ichika suits up and looks like a badass for 2 seconds. Huki tells him to go win, and he takes off like he's flying to heaven. But as soon as the match starts, Cecilia blasts his skull with her cannon. His brain probably rattled like a maraca in there. Cecilia's laughing while Ichika tries to remember how to breathe. He pulls out a sword, and cowhead Cecilia mocks him again. She's got a cannon, and he brings a knife to a gunfight. His energy shield keeps dropping, and he looks like he's one shot away from being turned into stew. But then, plot twist. He figures out her pattern and dodges a few projectiles like a pro. The whole arena gasps, including Maya, who's watching from the control room with her mouth open. Just as Ichika's about to land a good hit, Cecilia traps him like a rat. His suit saves him, but now he's pissed. He's been fighting on default settings this whole time. He finally activates the real deal, the weapon his sister used in her prime. It changes form, and now he looks ready to send someone to the ER. Cecilia panics and starts shooting like her life depends on it, but Ichika's dodging everything. The clown's actually moving like a fighter now. He prepares a serious attack to finish her, but right before his sword touches her, his suit runs out of juice. The match ends. Cecilia wins, not because she's good, but because Ichika's suit has the stamina of an iPhone battery. You had to be there, were you? Let us know in the comments. After the fight, Ichika limps over to his sister. She tells him he lost because he used a barrier-breaking move without a backup plan. So basically, he pressed the red button without reading the manual. Speaking of manuals, Maya hands him a fat book with all the IS details. Ichika looks at it like it's made of poison. Later at sunset, Ichika walks with Huki. She reminds him that IS training will begin soon and she wants to help him. Ichika says he prefers her company over the other girls. That simple line makes Huki smile like she just won the lottery. Meanwhile, back in the shower room, Cecilia is there talking to herself. Even though she won, she's feeling weird. Ichika the cowhead finally drags his sorry bones to the TR arena with the rest of his class for some training exercise. Chifuyu, who's built like she runs the military, tells Cecilia to deploy her IS. She does it like a diva on steroids. Then it's Ichika's turn, and guess what? Bro fumbles, again, like always. But somehow, by the second try, he manages to get it working. Congratulations, Donkey Brain. Cecilia shoots into the sky first, like a peacock on caffeine. Ichika follows, flapping like a confused chicken. Chifuyu yells at him to speed up, since his suit is supposed to be faster than Cecilia's. But that's the thing, this baboon doesn't know how to fly properly. Cecilia notices and offers to teach him after class, probably thinking teaching him anything is better than watching him flop like a wet sponge. What happens? He crashes straight into the ground like a satellite without signal. When the smoke clears, he looks like he just wrestled the pavement. Huki storms over to scold him, but Cecilia pushes her aside like she's moving expired goods, suddenly acting sweet after being rude all week. She wants to take Ichika to the infirmary like she's applying for the role of clingy girlfriend. Later that evening, the idiot gets celebrated as class rep because Cecilia, the royal headache, stepped down like it was some noble sacrifice. Huki is there looking like she's about to break her own neck in anger. She hates that this donkey is popular with women. It gets worse when the school's nosy newspaper girl tells Ichika to pose with Cecilia for a photo. He agrees because he has no sense. They finally go back to their dorm, and Huki aims a pillow at him and tells him to face the wall so she can change clothes. She even pulls out a barrier like she's preparing for nuclear war. The sound of her zipper drives Ichika crazy, but he behaves like a well-trained perv. When she finishes, he compliments her outfit. And for the first time, this ironhead shows a little emotion, big development. Next day, the school starts whispering about an upcoming interclass tournament. Some girl from China is transferring in. Cecilia, powered by overconfidence and tea, thinks she can beat this girl no problem. The transfer student walks in like she owns the school. It's Fan Ren, the Chinese cadet rep. She walks straight to Ichika's class and acts all chummy with him. Cecilia can't believe it. Chifuyu arrives and sends Ren to her proper class. Power move. At lunch, Ichika sits with Ren, Cecilia, and Huki. Since he's yapping mostly with Ren, Huki doesn't even join the table. She knows she'll be ignored anyway. Ren asks how he got into the academy, so the donkey starts talking about the day he got in. Apparently during the entrance exam, he got lost, touched an IS unit out of curiosity, and boom, it activated. Everyone freaked out because this thing isn't supposed to work with dudes. And just like that, the clown landed himself a spot in the academy. Ren listens to the story while Cecilia and Huki boil like spoiled soup. They both start pressing Ichika for answers about his relationship with Ren. He says she's just a childhood friend. Huki calms down a bit and smiles like she just won a fight. He even says Huki was his first childhood friend. That right there made her day. Cecilia, on the other hand, looks like expired jam because she has no connection to Ichika whatsoever. She tries to hijack the spotlight, but Ren completely ignores her existence. Then, Huki and Ren start arguing about who spent more time with Ichika as kids. Two lunatics fighting for the crown of Queen of Wasting Time on a Useless Male. The bell rings for training and they scatter. During training, Huki and Cecilia gang up to beat the crap out of Ichika. By the end, he's flat on the ground gasping like a fish out of water. Cecilia leaves. Huki follows. Nobody cares. Ichika finally crawls to the school building, and then Ren appears like the bossy ex. She gives him a towel and acts like they're about to rekindle something deep. She wants to know if he missed her. Of course, she doesn't get the answer she wants. She finds out Huki's his roommate and immediately packs her things to move in. She tries to guilt-trip Huki with old memories, but Huki, not born yesterday, rejects the idea. Huki grabs a wooden sword, ready to knock sense into her. But Ren partially activates her IS and blocks the attack like a drama queen. Huki powers down and steps aside. Ichika stands there like a misplaced lamp. Ren brings up an old promise from high school. Ichika, with a brain the size of a pencil eraser, completely misses the point. So she smacks his face and storms out. Huki watches him and wishes a horse had kicked his soul out during birth. Facts. Then comes the day of the interclass tournament. Ichika the punching bag is up against Ren. Before flying out to the arena, he tries to figure out her IS, like he knows what he's doing. Huki tells him to stick to the training or die trying. Ichika flies into the arena like he's in a superhero movie. In midair, Ren tells him she'll go easy on him if he apologizes. But this donkey has an ego bigger than his IQ. He refuses, says he'll fight with all he's got. Good luck with that, brainless biscuit. The duel begins, and this useless brick, called Ichika, is already on the ropes. Ren throws the first hit, and of course, Cowhead dodges like he's not the same clown who gets folded every Tuesday. He tries to return fire, but shocker, he misses. How this clown even made it this far is still a mystery. Ren, on the other hand, is out here styling on him like she's doing warm-ups. While they're throwing hands, Miss England Cecilia is watching from behind a screen like a concerned sugar mommy. Man gets smoked mid-air like a cigarette butt. His suit saves his clown body from getting turned to ash, but he's crawling on the floor like he lost his spine. Ren doesn't waste a second. She starts launching invisible projectiles, but this idiot somehow dodges again. It's the only thing he's good at, running for his life. Cowhead remembers that he trained with only a sword and wondered why he didn't get a gun or some magic stuff. Chifuyu told him that a sword was enough, maybe for her, but Cowhead? Please. Still, he decides to go all out and use the forbidden technique she taught him. One-time use. Top speed. One shot. That's all this clown has. He zooms like a broke Sonic, so fast that Ren can't even keep up. Just when he's about to land a blow, a damn beam crashes through the arena, like the universe itself couldn't handle his nonsense. Match over. Lockdown activated. Maya screams like her rents due, saying some external force broke into the arena. Rising from the mess, Ren sees some unknown figure locked onto her. But of course, this headstrong queen wants to fight alone. Cowhead says nah, blocks the next shot aimed at her, and scoops her up like he's carrying groceries. Mid-air, he sees the enemy, and somehow his half-cooked brain is asking if it's an IS unit or not. Maya radios him, tells him to get out, but this tomato-brained idiot refuses. He's got the IQ of toast, but the heart of a lion. He drops Ren, and both of them face the new enemy like it's a final boss battle. One problem though, this mystery is cooking them for breakfast. Ren leads the charge. Ichika follows like a desperate intern trying to impress his manager. Meanwhile, the audience is useless. Maya is still panicking. Cecilia is crying to Chifuyu to join the fight, but Chifuyu flexes the locked doors like it's a prison break. Ren and Ichika are stuck, alone, trapped, about to die for free. Ichika, desperate as always, looks for an opening. He goes for a big attack, but guess what? He misses. Again. His suit's energy is almost empty now. He's been boosting like an addict on caffeine and has one chance left. Ren, on the other side, is dancing around bullets like she's in a video game. They regroup. Cowhead shares his grand theory. This might be an unmanned IS unit. If it's true, he can go full beast mode with no guilt. Ren agrees and gives him the go-ahead. Suddenly, Huki shows up to cheer him on with the most basic motivational speech ever. Ichika tells Ren to shoot him. Yeah, you heard that right. Shoot him. She hesitates, because who asks to get blasted in the chest? But she's got no better idea. So boom, she fires. The energy pumps up Ichika's suit like a broken faucet, but after all that hype, he still flops the final hit. The walking disappointment gets punched to the floor, face first. As the enemy closes in for the kill, Cecilia rolls in from nowhere and blasts the enemy like she's saving a baby. Ichika, still on the floor, tells her he knew she'd come. Bro, shut up and get up. But wait, plot twist, the enemy ain't dead yet. It jumps back in and tries to KO Cowhead. Ichika jumps at it like a cracked out Pokemon, and next thing we know, sunset hits, and he wakes up in a hospital bed. Sitting next to him is Ren, looking like a rejected dating sim character. She's worried about him, and Ichika, acting like he didn't just get clapped by a toaster, smiles and starts getting sentimental. He brings up their high school promise. She tells him her parents are divorced, like it's some post-fight therapy session. Then he invites her to hang out in the future. She's about to say yes, probably imagining beach dates and kissing under sakura trees, but boom, Cecilia enters the room like she owns it. She's mad because they all agreed to visit Ichika at the same time. Seconds later, Huki enters, pissed off as well. Meanwhile, Chifuyu and Maya are in the lab, looking at the busted enemy IS. Turns out, Maya's findings confirm what Cowhead guessed. It's unmanned. Ichika Cowhead is playing games again, wasting valuable brain cells with his childhood friend Dan. While they're at it, Dan's sister Ran walks in dressed like someone who just escaped from a sleepover gone wrong. She freezes when she sees Ichika the clueless, and Dan tells her to stop entering his room like she owns the place. Later, Ichika and Dan stuff their mouths at Ran's restaurant. While Ichika is chewing like a goat, Cheyenne walks up and tells him to enjoy the food, but her face looks like she just saw a ghost. Maybe it's the sight of Ichika's dumb face again. That evening, back at the dorm, Maya barges into the room and drops a bomb. Huki has to move out. She explains that two teenage goats of opposite gender can't be sleeping in the same room. Ichika, with the IQ of a pencil sharpener, doesn't even flinch. Instead, he makes one of his usual empty comments that makes Huki's blood boil. She packs out with immediate effect. Later, Huki storms his room again. This time, she's got something to say.
You have to date me!
3 nosy students are already eavesdropping and passing the gist like it's hot puff puff. By the next day, the rumor has spread like wildfire. Huki's public proposal is the new school anthem. Cecilia hears it in class and her brain almost explodes. Chifuyu enters and shuts the circus down. Then Maya drops another bomb. There's a new student. Enter Charlotte Dunois, supposedly a guy from France, but with a face smoother than a K-pop idol and a voice that sounds like melted butter. Even Chifuyu throws Charlotte under Ichika's care, because apparently 2 brainless boys are better off together. Ichika drags Charlotte away. The girls form a wall like they're guarding a concert stage, but Ichika finds a secret route. At the locker room, he starts undressing like it's a strip show while Charlotte turns away, looking like he's about to cry. Once Charlotte puts on the training suit, Ichika sneaks a look between Charlotte's legs, trying to figure out how the math adds up. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. They talk a bit. Turns out Charlotte's daddy owns the biggest IS company in France. Of course, Ichika instantly assumes she's a rich kid, spoiled brat, soft like bread girl. Later, training kicks off and Chifuyu calls out Ren and Cecilia. But before the match begins, Maya shows up and like a bad luck magnet, Ichika crashes into her. Cecilia's jealousy hits the roof. She shoots a warning blast, but Maya dodges it like she's in the Matrix. Eventually, Chifuyu pairs Maya against Ren and Cecilia. Bad move for them. Ren and Cecilia think it's a joke. Chifuyu warns them they're about to eat dust, and she's not wrong. Maya flies up and smacks the stupid out of both of them with one cannon blast. Ren and Cecilia drop like empty batteries. Maya wins without sweating. Chifuyu uses their defeat to remind the rest that instructors aren't just for decoration. As expected, everyone breaks into smaller teams to practice. Meanwhile, Ichika the lady magnet is swarmed by girls again. Huki stands in a corner, looking like she's ready to throw hands. Next training, each student takes a turn trying to enter the IS unit. When it's Huki's turn, she starts fumbling. Maya tells Ichika to help her. At first, Huki looks like she might punch someone, but she calms down when the dummy deploys his IS unit. He carries her gently like a hero, while the rest of the girls start fuming. On the way to the unit, Huki finds her voice and invites Ichika to lunch. He agrees like it's nothing. During lunch, Huki tries to enjoy her time, but then finds herself surrounded by enemies. Charlotte, who still looks like she belongs in a makeup ad, senses the tension. Ren and Cecilia show up with food, acting like they're feeding royalty. Huki hides her own dish like it's poison. Ichika tries Cecilia's meal first and nearly dies, but he lies through his teeth and says it's good. Then he grabs Huki's meal and nearly explodes from joy. He showers her with praise, making her blush like a schoolgirl. Ren and Cecilia's faces turn green with jealousy. Charlotte, the fake French boy, decides to throw gasoline into the fire. He calls Ichika and Huki a couple, right in front of the other girls. The next day starts with Maya dumping another transfer student in the class. And surprise, it's not an actual human being. It's Laura Baudewig, the German ice cube with a personality as warm as a corpse, but then sees Ichika and immediately storms over like he owes her money.
I do not approve.
Later that morning, the boy gets cooked again, this time in a training session where Rin, Cecilia, and Huki triple-teamed him like he insulted all their favorite anime characters. Turns out, the dude doesn't know the basics of his unit, probably because he skipped the tutorial or just has the IQ of wet bread. And while they're turning him into a punching bag, Charlotte shows up out of nowhere, looking like a calm French breeze, ready to rescue Ichika from his brutal waifu beatdown. Instead of helping him escape the chaos, Charlotte challenges him to a duel, and Ichika, being the same idiot we know, actually agrees. They take off to the arena while the crowd gathers like it's a gladiator match. Ichika starts with a speed move, but Charlotte blocks it like it's child's play. then flies up and starts raining bullets like he's got beef with Ichika's ancestors. Ichika obviously loses, because that's what he does best, then sits down for a therapy session with Charlotte, who kindly explains why he got his butt kicked, which triggers Rin, Cecilia, and Huki into jealousy mode, because apparently they've been yelling at him for nothing all this time. Later, Charlotte gives Ichika a long-range weapon, because his aim is worse than a stormtrooper's, and somehow, under supervision, he finally hits over 50% accuracy, which is basically a miracle of science. Now, Laura's still lurking like a shadow in the background and shows up at the arena ready to fight Ichika. She fires off a beam blast, even after Ichika politely says, "Nah, I'm good." But Charlotte blocks it like a true homie, and now he's about to throw hands with Laura. Before we get to see an international scandal unfold, Chifuyu drops in and shuts everyone down with one command. Later that day, Ichika's in the boys' locker room, and Charlotte walks in. Ichika thanks him for earlier and tells him to shower in the locker room like a normal dude. But Charlotte is suddenly in a rush to run back to his dorm. Ichika's left standing there confused because he still hasn't figured out that Charlotte is not one of the boys. After finishing his locker routine, the walking disaster stumbles across Laura arguing with Chifuyu in a random field. Laura wants Chifuyu to leave the school and go back to Germany because apparently she's stuck in the past and mad that her idol is now babysitting anime rejects like Ichika. Chifuyu claps back by reminding Laura who the boss is and tells her to get lost. As Laura runs away dramatically, Chifuyu senses Ichika's peasant energy hiding nearby and tells him to keep training or he'll keep losing and embarrassing humanity. Ichika then asks if Laura slapped him because of some tragic backstory, but Chifuyu cuts him off because flashbacks are expensive, and we get our own anyway. Turns out, Ichika got kidnapped back in the day on the finals day of an international tournament, and Chifuyu had to forfeit just to save his dumb face, ruining her career path and trading trophies for trauma. She stayed in Germany after that to help out their IS military division as payback, while Ichika spent the rest of his life being useless. Back in the dorm, Ichika finds Charlotte hiding in the bathroom like he's avoiding taxes. After a while, the truth spills out. Ichika realizes Charlotte is actually a girl. Charlotte finally comes out of the bathroom after doing God knows what, and Ichika, being a wannabe gentleman, offers her tea, but because he's cursed, he spills hot tea on himself and starts flailing like a cartoon character. Charlotte helps him, and after the pain dies, they have a little heart-to-heart. She explains that she pretended to be a guy because her rich anime family told her to, and she's not even their real kid. They just took her after her real mom died and found out she had high IS aptitude, so obviously they turned her into a test subject because that's what every morally bankrupt family does. The Dunois company's been failing miserably at building third-gen IS units, and now they're just using Charlotte for clout and data, and she's supposed to spy on Ichika's unit like some bootleg agent. Ichika hears all this and suddenly grows a backbone. He lectures Charlotte on parental neglect like he didn't just find out how to shoot straight last week and asks what she really wants with her life. Charlotte says if anyone finds out she's a girl, she might go to jail or get expelled or whatever. Just then, Cecilia knocks on the door and Ichika, in a panic, tucks Charlotte into bed like a human burrito, pretending she's sick. Cecilia walks in, sees Ichika patting Charlotte like a baby, then takes Ichika out to dinner. Huki crashes their party and grabs him like she paid rent on him. Emotions explode, because apparently dinner is now a battlefield. After surviving the girl fight, Ichika returns to the dorm sweaty and defeated. Charlotte asks what happened, but he just hands her food like an emotional support meal. Charlotte panics over chopsticks, so Ichika feeds her like it's a date, and she loves every second of it because being treated like a person is new for her. Later that night, Laura is sitting alone, staring into space, takes off her eye patch like she's preparing for a villain arc, and promises to destroy Ichika because she thinks he's the reason Chifuyu isn't out there winning tournaments anymore. The day starts with the dumbest rumor flying across the school like a mosquito in heat. Someone said the winner of the tournament gets to date Ichika. Huki hears this, and her brain starts overheating like a cheap toaster, because she knows deep down her name probably kicked this chaos off. Ichika and Charlotte stroll in later like they just came from filming a cringy romance drama. Huki stands alone like she's been left behind by the train of love, wondering how the rumor spread so fast. Even though her face screams guilt while pretending to be calm, her mind is stuck on winning the tournament, despite the fact her temper is one flick away from setting the school on fire. She remembers back in 4th grade when she was about to win a national kendo match, but missed it because her sister had to do a fancy presentation for the government. The public started fearing is technology, and her family became a moving circus just to stay alive. She got separated from her parents, her sister disappeared, and all she had left was kendo. One time during practice, she snapped and smashed a guy like a broken vending machine. Till today, she regrets it. But guess what? The girl still has no chill. Ren and Cecilia decide to test their weak power levels at the arena. Of course, Cecilia acts like she's the queen of everything, and Ren's blood starts boiling like instant noodles. Ren pulls out her IS unit and says, "Let's go." But surprise, here comes Laura. The German ice block with the emotion of a fridge walks in like she owns the place and just casually interrupts their match. Cecilia starts shaking a little because she knows Laura doesn't play. Laura challenges them both and doesn't even blink. Ren and Cecilia are dumb enough to think they stand a chance. They rush her like untrained puppies, hoping to do damage. Meanwhile, Ichika and Charlotte are strolling down the hallway like nothing's wrong, until they hear about the chaos going down. Huki joins them, and they all run off to see Ren and Cecilia get wrecked. Ren tries to shoot Laura, but Laura's barrier blocks that trash like spam mail. Charlotte explains it's an AIC, some high-tier IS ability used by 3rd-gen suits. Ichika watches closely, trying not to wet his pants. Ren gets trapped like a fly in Laura's rope attack. Cecilia tries a sneak attack, but Laura sees through it and blasts her with a cannon. They both go down like used batteries. When the smoke clears, they're rolling on the ground like losers. Ren tries to shoot again, but Laura claps back harder. Ren and Cecilia fly away to avoid close range, but too late. Laura throws out more ropes and drags them like sad puppies across the arena. She beats the lights out of both, like she's flipping pancakes. Their barriers are about to die when Ichika finally slams his fist on the wall like a dramatic idiot. Laura gives him a psycho smile, so he powers up and breaks through the barrier. On first contact, Ichika gets destroyed. He can't even move properly thanks to Laura's energy field. Charlotte joins the fight, shooting non-stop. Ichika grabs the moment, rescues the girls, and zooms away. Meanwhile, Charlotte gets caught by Laura's ropes and is about to get executed. Chifuyu the drill master shows up and blocks it with a sword. Laura freezes because she knows Chifuyu is built different. Chifuyu ends all the fights and tells everyone to chill till the tournament. She looks pissed because these clowns nearly broke the arena. Later, Ichika and Charlotte visit the infirmary to check on Ren and Cecilia. Charlotte asks why they fought Laura, but the girls choke on their drinks like guilty idiots. Their reason is dumb and full of lies. Charlotte sees through the nonsense. The girls try to shut her up before she spills more truth. Meanwhile, he tries to separate the girls but ends up grabbing their injuries like a blind fool. Before he can say sorry, some students burst in with news about the tournament. Now, all participants need to form pairs. Ichika picks Charlotte as his partner, and the girls look like someone stole their last brain cell. Ren and Cecilia start fighting again, this time with their souls, trying to get Ichika back. But Maya comes in and says their IS units are broken, so they can't even compete. Tragic. They switch their energy to hating Huki because she might win and date the cowhead. Later that evening, Ichika and Charlotte walk to their dorm. Charlotte thanks him for picking her. She feels special that the dumbest male alive picked her. At their dorm, Ichika tells her she doesn't need to act like a boy when they're alone. Charlotte says she was trained to talk like that, but she agrees to speak like a girl when it's just them. A week later, it's tournament time. Ichika and Charlotte are in the locker room changing into their battle suits. A screen shows their first opponents. When they see it, their souls leave their bodies. They're up against Huki and Laura. May their dignity rest in pieces. The episode kicks off with Cowhead Ichika and Charlotte entering the battle arena like they're about to win something when we all know they're both about to get slapped by reality. The moment the match starts, Ichika dashes at Laura like a moron. The dude immediately gets trapped in some cursed energy net and starts twitching like a roasted chicken. Laura's about to blast him into next week, but Charlotte interrupts with a beam attack that Laura dodges without even trying. Huki struts in and acts like she's the boss of the universe. Ichika and Charlotte gang up on her like the cowards they are, but Laura blocks the shot and shoves Huki away like a used napkin. Laura clearly doesn't care who gets hurt and fights like a rabid wolf. Ichika somehow survives her crazy swings and keeps his cool while Huki tries to sneak up on him, but Charlotte blocks her with a solid shot that fries her energy source and leaves her suit looking like a cheap Halloween costume. Ichika goes full gorilla mode and charges Laura. Charlotte saves him again. These two somehow pull off decent teamwork and force Laura to back off again, but Ichika's suit gives out because of course it does. He falls like a lifeless potato, and Charlotte picks up the slack by spraying Laura with armor-piercing shots. She can't block them all and starts losing it. Ichika regains enough strength to fire a shot and piss her off. Laura tries a savage counter, but Charlotte hits her with a suit-draining blast that slows her down. Ichika smiles like he finally did something right, and Charlotte keeps pummeling Laura with punches that make her question reality. Laura drifts into a mental breakdown as memories of her past come back. Turns out this angry raccoon was once a lab rat in Germany, where they shoved a nanochip into her eyeball to boost her IS compatibility. But her body sucked at adapting, so they labeled her a failure. Luckily, she met the legend Chifuyu, who taught her how not to suck. One day, Laura asked why Chifuyu was so strong, and got the worst answer ever. "I have a little brother." That little brother was Ichika, the walking disappointment. In the present, Laura lets that ancient rage boil over and activates the nanotech in her eye, turning into a full-blown monster. Chifuyu sees this mess and immediately locks down the arena, and Ichika stands there like a lost goat. She hits him twice and knocks his suit clean off. Bro starts bleeding like a leaky faucet and panics because Laura just used Chifuyu's own sword style against him. But Huki shows up and slaps him hard enough to reboot his brain. Ichika remembers a time when Chifuyu taught him swordplay and reminded him not to let his weapon control him. Back in the now, every IS expert in the country jumps into the arena ready to take Laura down, but Ichika still wants to fight her solo. Charlotte gives Ichika all her energy like a true simp. Ichika activates his suit halfway and turns it into a massive sword. Huki begs him not to die, but Ichika walks off like a movie hero. He charges up his sword with all the energy he can muster, and it transforms into a more deadly blade. Laura attacks again, but Ichika swings once. Just one swing and boom, the battle is over. Laura wakes up in a hospital bed with Chifuyu beside her, and they have a weird talk about identity. Chifuyu tells her she can't become her, and then walks out like a boss. Later, Ichika and Charlotte have dinner in the cafeteria, while the rest of the student body mourns their chances of ever winning a fight against those two. Huki shows up and Ichika tells her he wants to go out with her. Huki almost faints, but then Ichika adds that it's just for shopping. Dumbass gets punched so hard he probably forgot his name. The next day, Chaos returns to class. Maya introduces Charlotte as a transfer student, but with her real name and actual gender. Every student loses their mind, but Huki takes it the worst. As if that wasn't bad enough, Ren breaks out of her class to roast Ichika for hiding Charlotte's gender. Before Ichika can get char-grilled, Laura shows up and blocks a laser with a barrier. She then does what she knows best. Kisses Ichika like her life depends on it. Everyone in the room looks like their soul left their body. After the kiss ends, Laura hits the final blow and asks Ichika to marry her right there in front of everyone. That night, Shinonono Taban gets a call from her gremlin little sister Huki. She picks up the call like a sleep-deprived raccoon, and Huki almost hangs up immediately. But Taban drops the bait. A new custom IS unit made just for her. Next morning, cowhead Ichika wakes up to find German gremlin Laura glued to his side like a clingy fungus. She's ready for round 2, and he's just trying not to cry. Samurai maniac Huki kicks the door down and sees Ichika in full scandal mode. Her brain melts, and she delivers the holy punishment with a wooden stick like she's back in feudal Japan. After getting smacked into another timeline, Ichika limps his way to town with undercover Queen Charlotte. On the train, Ichika's brain replays the Laura incident like a bad movie. Meanwhile, Charlotte sits there looking like a calm criminal, holding his hand like they're in a K-drama. Ichika, the emotional worm, doesn't resist. Stalker Queen Cecilia and Ren are already on their tail. Cecilia looks ready to throw hands, but Laura crashes the scene, dragging her emotionless face into the chaos. She joins the squad of desperate weirdos chasing this human fridge. Ichika, still unaware of the girl storm chasing behind him, stops at a mall and gives Charlotte a nickname because her real name sounds like a Wi-Fi password. Charlotte, already deep in the simp abyss, loves the idea like it's a proposal. Then, Ichika ditches her like expired milk to grab some stuff from the store. Dan and Ran show up holding shopping bags. Apparently, Ran is buying stuff for the upcoming beach class. She drops the bomb that she's joining Aya's academy soon, and wants to be close to Ichika. Of course she does, because what better life goal than chasing a guy with a brain made of tofu? When Ichika returns, he disappears again like a magician as soon as Charlotte returns. Charlotte drags him to a bikini shop, and Ichika is as confused as a lost goat. Outside, the jealous girl squad is still lurking, with Laura taking notes like a serial bikini stalker. She listens to some random girls and realizes she needs to step up her seduction game. Good luck, robot face. Charlotte finishes changing, shows off the goods, and Ichika compliments her. Big mistake. Now she's buying it like she won the lottery. Meanwhile, Ichika's sister Chifuyu and Maya walk past the changing room and hear Ichika's dumb voice echoing like a broken speaker. Curiosity kills Maya's peace. Outside, Cecilia and Ren spy on the situation like undercover agents while Laura calls her psycho buddy Clarissa for backup. She complains that she only has one swimsuit, and Clarissa loses her mind like it's a war crime. She promises to design the ultimate swimsuit to turn Ichika into the most desirable person to walk the beach. A few days later, the beach scene finally begins. Every girl shows up in full bikini battle mode, ready to claim Ichika's non-existent heart. The sun is out, but none of these girls brought sunscreen for their pride. The episode opens in a quiet Japanese-style inn, where our walking L-cup airhead Cecilia is struggling to sit like a normal human. She's twitching like she's got a bug in her pants, and Ichika the cowhead notices it. He asks what's wrong, and she lies through her overglossed teeth, saying she's fine. Of course he doesn't buy it, because for once in his useless life, he's paying attention. So what does the brain-dead Chad do? He offers to feed her like a royal piglet, and she, without a second thought, throws away her chopsticks like they were cursed. She opens her mouth and lets this himbo feed her. Meanwhile, the other girls in the room are watching like hawks ready to claw her eyes out. Huki the cactus head is clearly dying inside watching Cecilia get premium treatment. Chifuyu, the walking trauma, walks out with death eyes and tells everyone to shut up. The brain cell-deprived Ichika whispers something flirty to Cecilia like he's got game, telling her to come over later. Fast forward, and Cecilia gets ready for her midnight creep session. Everyone can tell she's up to no good. When she gets to Ichika's room, she finds the whole peanut gallery. Charlotte, Ren, and other desperate lovebirds. Curiosity kills these cats because they press their ears harder and start hearing Ichika say the most suspicious things like, and, yeah, that's nice. Cecilia's brain implodes from the filthy image she creates. The girls all crash the door down like a SWAT team, only to find out Ichika is just giving his sister a massage. After being caught red-handed, the girls fall on their knees begging for forgiveness. Chifuyu compliments Ichika's magic fingers and then lets the girls line up like a spa queue to feel the Ichika touch. Cecilia goes first, and within 5 seconds of being massaged, she claims she's sleepy, but we all know her soul just left her body for a second. Next up, Chifuyu sits all the girls down and asks what they even like about her walking potato of a brother. They try to hide their feelings, but their dumb faces betray them. Chifuyu, knowing that her brother's dense enough to be a black hole, tells them to just steal him if they want him. As if it's that simple. The next day, Ichika meets Huki. As she walks off, Ichika finds something random on the ground, and suddenly, from the sky, crashes in Tatanashi's evil twin, Taban. Ichika's face freezes like a rejected anime frame. Cecilia also shows up, confused and dramatic as usual. Later, Chifuyu gathers all the students who own personal IS units. Chifuyu tries to explain but is rudely interrupted by the tornado of madness known as Tabane, who tries to hug Chifuyu like a perverted raccoon. Chifuyu blocks her like a professional and wins the awkward hug battle. Tabane then turns her attention to her sister and introduces everyone to Huki's new toy, a 4th-gen IS unit. She brags that it's better than every 3rd-gen garbage out there. While she's running her mouth about specs, Chifuyu watches in silence, probably regretting not punching her harder. Huki finally gets in the suit, personalizes it with Tabane's help, and takes it for a joyride. Once she's airborne, Charlotte starts foaming at the mouth from shock. Huki zooms through the sky like she's Sonic's long-lost cousin. Her control is sharp and terrifying. She swings her sword once and launches a laser light show into the sky. Then, Tabane decides to stress test her by launching a ton of missiles. Huki slices through all of them like they were made of paper, while the others are left standing with faces that scream, "What just happened?" Maya shows up with her usual doom and gloom. She drops military tea hotter than Cecilia's delusions. Apparently, a 3rd Gen IS unit called the Silver Gospel went rogue off the Hawaiian coast. Then the strategy meeting begins. Cecilia and Laura start analyzing Gospel's specs, and Chifuyu reminds them that the thing is moving faster than their brains can process. She says they'll need an IS unit that can strike once and finish the job. Naturally, everyone stares at Ichika like he's the last piece of pizza at a party. Cowhead panics for a second, then somehow grows a spine and accepts the mission. That's when Tabane pops back in with her gremlin energy and suggests that Huki go with him, since her new unit is basically a cheat code. The next morning, the squad assembles like some half-baked Avengers. Right before launch, Tabane starts flapping her gums again, bragging about Huki's unit and bringing up the old White Knight story. She talks about how 10 years ago, a woman in a white IS unit saved Japan by blasting thousands of missiles out of the sky. Of course, she claims she doesn't know who the pilot was, which is the most obvious lie in anime history. Chifuyu smacks her to shut her up and brings her back to reality. Before they send Huki out, Tabane makes a few last adjustments, and the mission is ready to begin. Ichika, still barely functioning with one active brain cell, stands by as everyone counts on him not to mess it all up, which, considering his track record, is the real gamble here. At exactly 11:30 a.m., Ichika the cowhead suits up like he's about to save the world, even though we all know he couldn't save a cold sandwich from falling. Huki the angry rice cooker follows behind, looking like she's ready to fight, even though her battle experience is as real as your imaginary girlfriend. Once both of these walking disasters are geared up, Big Sis Chifuyu shows up, reminding them that the mission is to destroy the target in one hit and come back alive. Basically, don't screw it up, which is asking too much from these two. Chifuyu turns to Huki the noob and warns her to be careful. Everyone else sees how excited Huki is, like she's about to win a lottery, not realizing she's probably going to get slapped out of the sky. Chifuyu, being smarter than the whole group combined, opens a private line with Cowhead and tells him to babysit Huki before she blows something up by mistake. Then she goes public and gives Huki the green light. Huki wastes 0 seconds and shoots into the air like a rocket with anger issues. Even Ichika, moving like a half-broken drone, wonders how this lunatic is moving that fast while carrying his heavy dead weight. The moment she locates Gospel, she yells at Cowhead to hold on because she's about to break the sound barrier. Ichika, somehow still alive, starts charging his weapon like it's going to matter. Just when Cowhead gets close enough to make a move, Gospel hits the turbo button and dodges like it's got anime plot armor. Huki, now even angrier, accelerates more so Cowhead can try again. But instead of landing a hit, Gospel blasts them with beams like it's a firework festival. Cowhead, still pretending to be a leader, tells Huki they should flank Gospel from opposite sides. The plan actually works because for once, Huki listens and doesn't punch something. But wait, Cowhead decides to fly off to save a cargo ship from being exploded. Huki the microwave screams at him for being a dumb hero when he had a clean shot. Ichika, being the same guilt-powered bozo he always is, says he couldn't risk innocent lives. Huki goes full toddler tantrum mode, yelling that he should have let the ship explode. Ichika, also out of gas, stands there like a sad pancake, taking every shot from Gospel to protect this ungrateful rice cooker. In the middle of the explosion, Huki reaches out like a tragic love story and saves Ichika from falling into the ocean like the wet sock he is. Hours later, Charlotte the budget prince, Cecilia the mayonnaise queen, and Ren the angry elf try to check on Chifuyu. But Queen Coldface tells them she doesn't want visitors. Cecilia, with her loud mouth, remembers that Chifuyu hasn't even looked at Cowhead since he went into treatment. The other girls were shocked by how bad he looked, but Huki looked like someone ran over her hopes. At sunset, Huki the regretful sits by Coma Boy's bed, wishing the sleeping idiot would wake up. This man is in a coma and probably dreaming of a better anime. Huki cries, blaming herself for the disaster, wondering how Cowhead can be this forgiving to people he barely knows. She regrets gaining her IS powers, which is funny because she was acting like the Queen of England 5 minutes ago. Then Maya walks in, looking like she hasn't slept in 10 years, and tells Huki to rest. Huki, being stubborn as always, refuses until Chifuyu orders her out. She leaves the room like a wet cat, runs to the beach, and collapses like a flat tire. She remembers when she was in elementary school and used to get bullied for not acting like a girly girl. One day, Cowhead the hero had enough, scared off the bullies, and told her the ribbon in her hair looked good. Huki pretended not to like it, but she was blushing so hard she could have boiled water. In the present, she stares at the ocean like it holds answers. Suddenly, Ren shows up mad as hell and drags Huki by the collar like a sack of potatoes. Ren tells her to stop crying and stop acting like a toddler who lost her toy. She tells Huki that this emo meltdown won't bring Cowhead back and that the real fight is still ahead. Huki, shocked into sense, wipes her tears and starts yelling that she'll fight. A quick meeting starts, and Laura pulls out satellite images showing Gospel's location like she's Google Maps. All the girls, now pumped, decide to go after Gospel and finish what Cowhead started. They ignore Chifuyu's orders, which is pretty brave or pretty stupid. Later that night, Laura the rocket launcher deploys her cannon and launches a missile straight into Gospel's ugly face. Chifuyu sees it all through the screen and doesn't stop them. The missile tears through Gospel's energy shield like it's made of paper, draining it completely. Gospel's finally exposed and the real battle is about to begin. After Gospel, the flying toaster with missiles for brains charges at the girls, our human paperweight Ichika's harem starts dodging bullets like it's the Matrix on budget. Cecilia, aka British Miss Can't Hit a Target to save her life, struggles to land even one clean shot because Gospel is moving like a fly on steroids. Charlotte, our French discount prince, sets up a trap, but Gospel says nope, boosts up, and zips past all her shots like she's throwing paper planes. He even claps back at Charlotte. Meanwhile, inside Ichika, the Cowhead's dusty subconscious, he sees a girl standing on water like she's doing Jesus cosplay. Cowhead jumps off a tree and walks toward her, thinking she looks familiar. Just as he gets close, she whispers something spooky and disappears into the air like a magician without a permit. The idiot stares like he just got rejected by air itself. Back in real life, Ren and Seal actually do something useful and try to pin the Gospel in one spot on the ocean. Inside the Cowhead's mind again, the whole dream gets a romantic sunset filter. Outside Huki, the anger management failure smashes Gospel so hard he takes a trip to the bottom of the ocean. But the toaster bot doesn't stay down. The wet robot pops back up in a bubble of water and flexes his second form like he just unlocked a DLC. While he's doing that, Ichika finally grows 2 brain cells and says yes to the offer of power so he can protect his harem squad. The moment he says that, everything goes bright, and the mysterious girl grabs his hand. Back in the real fight, Toasterbot Gospel gets all dramatic and lasers Huki straight out the sky. Cecilia and Charlotte get body slammed too, like trash bags on cleaning day. Right before Huki passes out, she simps hard and wishes she could see Ichika one last time. Magically, there he is, standing like a confused mannequin. She starts leaking tears, thinking he's dead, but the cockroach won't die. He gives her a handkerchief like he's in a K-drama and wishes her happy birthday like he remembered. He flies off again to square up with Gospel like a real protagonist for once. Meanwhile, back at Bootleg Shield headquarters, Chifuyu, the Iron Queen, hears Ichika's alive and Maya, the tech gremlin, starts watching his speed and power like a stalker with 10 monitors. They realize Ichika is now rocking his suit's second form just like Gospel. This time, Ichika isn't playing. The rest of the clown squad wakes up and gets hyped that the Cowhead is back in action. Ichika takes the lead. Huki goes full anime waifu and joins him, pumping more energy into him than she ever pumped into school. Maya and Chifuyu just sit behind a screen watching like 2 bored Twitch mods. Gospel starts acting wild, throwing spirals and laser vomit everywhere, trying to fry anything that breathes. While chaos reigns, Ichika speed blitzes Gospel across the ocean and jabs him like he's trying to win a fencing match. Gospel gets the message and goes offline, finally letting everyone breathe. Later, Ichika the unkillable, Huki the apologetic, and the rest of the walking disasters appear before Chifuyu and Maya for punishment. Chifuyu, the queen of tough love, says she's giving them extra training. That night, everyone's chilling and nosy students start asking the girls what happened during the fight. But since the harem swore to keep their chaos confidential, they all zip their lips. Elsewhere, Taban, the tech psycho with no eyebrows, sits at the beach reading Ichika's suit data like it's juicy gossip. She's shocked the idiot's suit healed him. Chifuyu shows up and pulls out her detective hat, accusing Taban of possibly building both the White Knight and this toaster bot gospel, and maybe also wrecking Japan's missile systems 10 years ago just for fun. Taban responds with some creepy villain line and vanishes into the wind, leaving Chifuyu standing there with more plot holes than answers. Now cue the final romantic beach episode. Huki meets up with Ichika under the moonlight. She's blaming herself for getting him hurt like she's the lead actress in a soap opera. Ichika, the human brick, pokes her forehead and says that's her punishment. Huki thinks he's trolling, but the dumb cowhead is just trying to forgive her like a gentle idiot, and they're about to kiss or maybe more. Until out of nowhere, a version of Cecilia's death laser aims straight for Ichika's face, and the whole jealous squad caught them slipping. Now Ichika, the dense cockroach, is sprinting across the sand with Huki trying not to get barbecued, because if there's one thing more dangerous than a robot with nukes, it's 5 anime girls who think you're cheating.